founder of jovoto. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
You launched jovoto as a tech startup and have by now a community of over 50,000 members. What were your first steps towards creating your startup?
We founded in Berlin,
Yeah.
and then we started 2010 an office and a daughter company in New York. And we have, I think, more than 80,000 creatives on the platform. I saw a lot of problems with these more traditional work environments. And I realized that I'm not very motivated to sort of churn into those systems. Yeah? I was studying design at the University of Arts here in Berlin. And I realized that there's a lot of people asking the same questions. We basically leveraged the university network, which was pretty good in that industry. And we convinced individuals within these networks that our idea is worthwhile to be pursued. I realized there's an entire generation being motivated differently. Yeah? And we're probably early adopters, like creative people are often early adopters, and sometimes here and there a little bit more critical than others. So the idea was build a platform where we redefine the work environment in a way that we believe is better at motivating talent. Yeah? It took us more than a year. That was at a time in 2007, 2008 where the world wasn't open at all. Social media was the dawn of social media.
In detail, how does social learning and collaboration work on your platform, and how do you remain having access to the outperforming talent out of the jovoto platform?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you have to develop a unique profile in order to be successful as a creative. Otherwise, you will just be a part of a very large mass of creative talent. But over time, we had to learn that we cannot provide like an ideal work environment for everyone. So we have to understand the different factors that motivate talent. There's some who really like the social aspect, like getting together with other people from all around the world, discussing problems. Sometimes people are just while away some time and they enjoy it. Then there's others who take project on the platform very seriously, who accept the challenge, who want to solve it. And then there's some who really have this collaborative mindset, who compete against each other, but also they help each other at the same time. They build teams, they improve their ideas along the way. Our algorithms and our team identifies these individuals and invites them into closed areas where they have access to a lot of additional projects, often projects that come at a much higher remuneration, so they have better chances of generating an income, and they also have access to formats where we just are very attractive in terms of what we pay and the kind of projects they can solve. We realized that we have to develop these filters, and jovoto works like an assessment center today. At the beginning, it's a place where you immediately get something back, but it's the community that creates most of the value. Yeah? And the further you dive into this environment, the more it becomes real for you. So it's not about gamification around creative work, it's about rather realification, making it real.
An open space for creative talent which receives a fixed payment distributed by neither you nor the customer agency, but by the members themselves.
People evaluate each other's performance, each other's work in a very transparent and open way, so you get to a collective decision. At the same time, there's a lot of people, because sometimes it's about winning 40, 50, 60,000 euro. Mm-hmm. It's a lot about gaming the system. Yeah? So there's a thin line, it's really a dance on the tightrope for users and members of the community to rate in an honest, fair way. And as the system constantly evolves, we have to constantly evolve these algorithms. It has to be good enough to keep the trust of the community members. Yeah.
Last question. So, what sort of projects are you striving for?
I've seen a couple hundred projects on the platform, so I do have some ideas about the kind of projects that I really thrive for. Mm-hmm. It's the kind of project where if you tell someone about the idea, the average feedback you get is really they don't even understand the idea. I like projects that derive from a very unusual, untypical idea that comes out of nowhere. I remember this project where we were approached by Dartmouth College from Massachusetts, and how do you spell it? Massachusetts. Okay, here we go. It was the $300 house. The question was, can you build a house for less than $300 for people living in favelas? Because they don't own the real estate or don't own the land. That's why they are not willing to invest more than $300 in the infrastructure, in building their house.
You solved the problem, right?
No, it's probably not a problem that you can solve immediately, but we engaged hundreds of thousands of people around the world to discuss this problem at all. And we engaged architects, inventors, product designers. We even had a father with his son going to the local Home Depot store, buying wood and concrete, and in their own garden they built a little house for less than $300, and they scanned every bill from the material they bought. Never expected that this would happen. So that's then the surprise that you tap into. The surprise is really something that is super rewarding. Yeah? If you try something impossible, then a lot of things in the end become possible. You might not be able to solve the problem entirely, but it's the journey that you engage is really rewarding.
How should people work on becoming better creative people? How should they survive to remain more attractive and adapt to this changing world?
So I believe that you're really good at things you're passionate about. Mm-hmm. So if you're a creative, if you're a designer, find your sweet spot, and that's probably somewhere close to what you are passionate about. You have to develop a unique profile in order to be successful as a creative. Otherwise, you will just be a part of a very large mass of creative talent.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, that was the entire interview. Okay.